Hey, Catherine.
Hey, you guys.
We are good.
Yay.
hmm
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So is that like recording the meeting, except somebody else is doing it for you?
So we're recording through Zoom, but I think other folks are doing the AI meeting note,
Very cool.
which is very cool. Yes.
I have to laugh. I have a staff member who laughed at me when I told her that I was going to be working with you. And I said, well, let me tell you what the project is first before you give me a hard time.
What'd she say?
Then she was appreciative.
Okay. And hopefully it's not too much time taken off of your calendar.
Not at all. I'm excited about it. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. Just for sake of everybody's time, it probably won't go the whole hour, but if we need it, we'll use it because we're going to have like a Q&A at the end. Just to make sure that all your questions are answered. So Jacqueline is going to pull up a slideshow really quick. And for all of you who don't know me, I'm Michelle Moore. I'm the Northeast Ohio Regional Manager. And then Jacqueline, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Jacqueline Fritz. I'm a program manager here in Central Ohio. I work primarily with our high school age students.
Thank you. Thank you. So we are Tech Corps, for those of you who aren't familiar with us and what we do. This is the Volunteer Orientation for Student Web Corps 2024. And we're just going to do, just to talk about the agenda really quick. So it's just going to be a Tech Corps and Student Web Corps overview, students and program site details, and then outline the volunteer experience and do Q&A. So why we do this, we believe that computer science should be a valuable experience for all students, no matter where they live, what their area code is. I love the pictures. All K-12 students should get equal access to computer science. And then how we do it is our programs, people, and partners. So most of you on the call are partners. We design computer science and IT programs for students and teachers. And then we recruit, train, and develop tech-savvy talent to implement the programs. We use a lot of tech professionals, such as yourself, and then computer science undergrads. So the majority of the instructors that I know I have in Northeast Ohio this year are college students. And we love our classroom teachers as well. We work with partners to provide students and teachers access to programs designed to educate, excite, and empower. This is Cecilia Render and Lisa Chambers. And because we do it, go ahead, Jacqueline. Students make the connections between technology that they love and possible career pathways associated with those programs. Students underrepresented in tech, females, and our Black and Brown students have safe and supportive learning environments that encourage them to explore, tinker, and learn. And then through our professional development, teachers receive the support they need to bring computer science into their classrooms. And former Tech Corps students, we actually hire some of them as our instructors, which we absolutely love to have in front of our students because it's very invigorating for them. And, a lot of them go on and pursue CS and IT degrees or enroll in tech training programs. So on to Student Web Corps. That's Lorraine County.
I'm not, I don't hear any audio on my end.
Thank you for letting me know that. Let me see if I can troubleshoot that real quick. Sorry, y'all. I am not fully certain how to do that. Michelle, is it okay if I go and head to the next slide?
I heard sound when
Me
you were
too.
going
Me
forward.
Let's retry it.
Okay, let's try that again. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
y'all. We'll see what
It's
we
a
can
great
do.
video.
We'll see.
Yeah, there's still no audio.
No.
I know for Zoom, if you share, there's an option to share audio as well. Was that done?
Is everyone not hearing sound?
No.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I
hear
can't
it.
hear
I
sound.
don't hear anything.
Either.
We'll just share the video with
sound.
you.
Okay, yeah, we'll make sure we send out that video separately. I apologize, everyone.
Yes, thank you. All right, so Student Web Corps 2024 is going to be in Ohio, Chicago, and in Ohio, it'll be Columbus and Northeast Ohio. So we have Cleveland, Warrensville Heights, Elyria, and Lorraine. So it'll probably be about 200 high school students. It's a work-based learning experience. And the eligibility is age, residency, household income for the majority of the programs, with the exception of Warrensville Heights students. And they don't need to have any previous experience. And these are some of our wonderful sponsors and partners. So thank you all. So the volunteer experience, it's not extremely time consuming. So, you know, we just really appreciate all the volunteers that are going to take the time to do it. We're asking for an hour, 3 times. So Wednesdays, 12 to 1 is what the schedule is going to be. And you're just going to log in virtually. And what we're going to ask is that you create the link for students to log into, because it works a lot easier that way versus us creating the link and then everybody trying to figure out how to get in and one person having to open all the links and that type of thing. So virtually it's Google Meet in the parentheses, but whatever platform you can use within your position or your job, because I know some folks have blocks and things they can't use. But you're going to provide feedback on their websites and you're going to share information about your educational and professional experiences with them. So like I said, there's going to be 3 weekly sessions. It's geared towards 4, but we're going to combine week 1 and 2 together. And that'll just be introductions and expectations and for you to talk to them kind of about what your experience is and how you got into the role. You don't have to be web developers to be a volunteer for this experience. And then you talking kind of about websites that you like to start giving them an idea of, you know, how they're going to gear their websites towards your likability or towards your preferences. And this session 1 and 2 are going to be combined together. You're going to provide feedback on their first work in progress of the website to ensure that the work is going in the right direction. So students are going to be given kind of a template that they get to pick from. And that's what they're going to be presenting to you. So they may come to you and say, all right, our website is a dog grooming website. And so you'll have to be the person on the other end as if it is your website. So now you're going to be owning that website and saying, all right, this is what I want my website to look like. These are the type of dogs maybe I want to see on it, for example. These are the colors, these are the fonts. These are how many pages I want. And maybe you want X amount of interactive links that, you know, are going to be openable. just to get them started. And then session 3, volunteers start testing and nearly complete projects and provide feedback to make sure the project is completed per the initial expectation. So, you know, we want you to be critical friends. We don't want everything to be perfect and you just to agree with everything the students are, you know, putting out on these websites. If, you know, you have a meeting with them and you tell them you want it, you think it should be this font and this size, and these are your primary colors that you want the website to be, and they present to you the next week and none of that, you know, has aligned with what y'all discussed in your first meeting, like, we want you to be critical and say, hey, you know, I thought this is what we discussed and this was my preference. And you know, you're going to feed them positives, but you're also going to let them know, like, this is what we talked about in our previous meeting. And these were the expectations so that they can make those adjustments and changes. And then session 4, which would be 3, will be your last, where you receive delivery and documentation. Students are going to present the projects and documentation, and then optional follow-up for anything that is missing or minor edits. So by this session, we're hoping they're going to, you know, be presenting to you a potentially complete project. And we hope that you will talk with them, you know, once they present to you, on presenting it out, because they're all going to have to, for the final presentation day, they're going to have to present it out in front of pretty much a large group of folks. So that's always scary for students. So, you know, being able to talk to them about that and give them helpful hints on, you know, what a good presentation is. We are going to provide all the volunteers with quite a few documents just to help you with, you know, the questions that you may have, but there's a rubric that students are going to be required to go by. It's pretty lengthy. So I think that, you know, if you can review some of the material that I send you prior to meeting with students, you'll get a even deeper understanding on kind of what the expectations are and what the instructors are going to be working with students on and where to get them. A huge piece of this 6-week program is their final presentation. It's very, very important that they take it seriously, that they practice it a couple times with you, but also they're going to be practicing it in person, right, with their instructors, taking them down to, you know, the auditorium, for example, and having them sit in front of other kids and making sure that they're able to line up their technology and everything's working and running, you know, cohesively. And so this is just by city. This doesn't mean anything to most of you right now because you don't know where you're going to be placed, but just to give you an idea. And each of us, Jacqueline, myself, and Markayla, will be sending out the sheets to each volunteer to let you know what your designated day, 3-day volunteer is. And then there's an optional, if you are in the area of where the program is that you're going to be volunteering for and you want to come in person to final presentations, students will send you an invitation for that as well, but absolutely not required. But it's so much fun to see them in person and how excited they are, you know, with everything that they've been working on. Now we're at questions.
Yes, hi, this is Robert, KeyBank. I am a remote employee. And I'm definitely not anywhere near Ohio. So
Mhm.
I understand it sounds like a lot of this is virtual as well. And this
Yes.
is all, of course, scheduled around Eastern time, right? Ohio time.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. All right. That's good. I just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
An example of the template that you were referring to that they'll be sharing with us so we're prepared?
Will you get an example of that? No.
Do you have one you can share, like from
No.
last year or anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's kind of like the skeleton of a website, because obviously in 6 weeks, students who have never developed websites aren't going to be able to just start from ground zero. If that helps with your question at all.
Okay.
Hi there, this is Bree. And my question is, how do I know to keep my asks reasonable for their level? Like your dog groomer example, if I had a dog groomer website, I would love the ability to create appointments and put that on like an iCal or something like that. Is that too much of an ask? Like, how do I know what is reasonable?
No, I love that. I don't think anything's out of the question. If there's something that a student isn't able to do or hasn't learned yet, I think students will share that with you.
Okay.
And are the topics of the websites, do we just come up with them or do you
Mm-mm.
give us that?
S- No, so students are given, I think it's like 7 to 10 templates that they can pick from. And so when you have their first meeting with them, they're going to tell you the template or, potential website that they picked to work on. And
I
so,
see. And then we take on the role of that
Yes.
client.
yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes. Great
Um,
question.
So what if those of us who aren't really as tech savvy, but want to help out and learn and grow, and help the students, what if they ask something that we don't know, or is there someone to direct them to?
They're not going to ask you questions on how to develop the website. They already
Perfect.
know that that's not your role, because I know a lot of the folks that are volunteering are not, specifically web developers are in that position at all. You're going to pose as the client to these students, right? Some of the students have never had a real job or had an experience where they've had adults in leadership positions that are overseeing them, or even talking directly to them. So these are kind of the soft skills that we're trying to give these students by going through this experience.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Out of just a genuine curiosity, what is the tech stack they're using? Is it just HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or are they making
Yes.
like a React app? Oh, okay,
Yep.
cool.
You hit it dead on.
I just have a question, Lachey.
That's-
Is this only for Northeast Ohio or does
No.
it?
So we're doing this in Columbus and we're also doing this in Chicago.
Oh, okay. But Akron is out.
Well, only because Akron, there was no funding in Akron to provide this specific experience. But if you want
Oh.
to sidebar, Lachey, I've asked for money from the mayor's office in the past.
Hello, Michelle. This is Rakit. I had one quick question as well.
Yes.
In regards to the in-person, I know you said that a lot of it is in Northeast Ohio.
Mhm.
I am in Northeast Ohio, so if I could, go in person just to, of course, see them as well. I would love to volunteer to do that as well.
Okay.
Just putting my name out there for the Northeast Ohio region.
Thank you. We appreciate it. So and just to be clear on this too, if teams are going to have virtual volunteers, it'll be all virtual, right? Unless a whole squad of volunteers agrees to come in person, because we want it to be fair for students. We don't want some teams to have volunteers that come in person and some that are virtual. But for the final presentations, you'll all receive invitations, from your teams to view the final presentations. And if we have the option, we'll do a recording of it as well so you can see it. For those of you
Got it.
who are out of town.
Okay, got it. And that's what I meant too for the
Yep.
final presentations. I'm sorry. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, I got it. I just started thinking to myself, like, let me bring this up as well, because we do have some volunteers that would rather do it in person, but after COVID, it kind of shifted how we do it.
Right.
Thank you. Anybody else?
This might be a stupid question, but are we going to hear about what the subject is before? Like, we're going to get that first so that we're prepared for the first meeting, or is that just going to be impromptu in the first meeting?
When you say subject, do you mean like what their topic is?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll find out about it. If instructors, so, working with people is always, you never know how it's going to flow, especially with students, right? Because they're all at different levels. But my goal is to send you your volunteer sheet that shows who the volunteer that you're paired with, what program, so meaning like what city they're in or what school. And if students have already chosen early on what the topic is, you'll have that ahead of time. If not, you'll get that probably the day before or the day of your meeting.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
we're paired with another volunteer?
Yes.
Okay.
So just in case, because we know stuff happens in the summer, or maybe people get sick and those types of things, and we don't want students to be idle while other groups are meeting with volunteers. So we've tried to pair at least minimum of 2 volunteers per team.
And does it make sense for the volunteers to get together to coordinate how their approach will be beforehand, or we're doing this all?
Oh, you're more than welcome to do that. I can share the sheets. I've already started pairing volunteers for my regions in Northeast Ohio. But I can share the sheets as early as you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else with questions?
I think it sounds like fun, actually.
It's a lot of fun.
Is this a once a year type thing? Just in
Yeah.
the summer? Oh, okay.
It's once a year.
Do
We're
they get a
hoping-
scholarship or anything like that from this, or?
Well, they don't get a scholarship, but they actually earn an hourly wage. So this is, it's very much a job for them. But they also can earn work-based learning credit. We're also working on in Northeast Ohio and Columbus, we're working on them being able to get a pre-apprenticeship for this, which is 12 points towards graduation.
Nice.
So it carries a lot of weight. The role that you all play as volunteers is super, super important. So even though the time is very minimum, it's super important that the students get this experience with you.
Quick question, Michelle. Are these like seniors or juniors and seniors or a mix of just high school students? What's the age range?
It's a mix. Some of the programs are for juniors and seniors only, but some of the programs are for, pretty much 15 and older.
Got it.
And some students come in with a little bit of experience already. We do accept students to do it a second time. If they did it one summer and they want to come back and do it, we let them come back. When instructors pair, make the teams of students, they make sure that the teams are pretty even. So it's not like one team is going to have a bunch of students that have already done it before.
Yeah, you
know
want
what I
some
mean?
more?
Michelle, this is Cindy. How many other volunteers are you looking for at this point?
So I'm pretty close to being where I need to be.
Awesome.
I think that the places that are lacking in volunteers right now are Chicago. I think I need about 8 more and maybe about 3 more for Elyria.
Okay.
Anybody else have questions? And Tracy.
On our last session, what are these students providing? Are they just providing like documentation that they created for the website?
Yep. And if they're far enough along at that point, I want them to be able to present to you the way that they would present to the audience, and then for you to share your feedback.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, just to clarify on that, they're going to show us their website, right? Okay.
And I will share out the slides as well as the documents that I told you I have for you. And then I'll probably just share out for everyone the recording.
And you said we set up the meeting invite, right? Like using Teams or
Yes.
Zoom or whatever. Okay.
Yeah. So the sheet that you'll get, it'll have you and your your co-volunteer, and then it'll have each student that's on that team, and it'll have their email address.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Will I be able to create a web page on my own when this is done?
Maybe.
Better help.
Maybe. Depends on how much you dive in.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, if anybody has any questions after we hop off the call, please reach out, shoot me an email. And I will be in touch with you with the video, the slides, and as well as the documents and your volunteer sheets so that you know who you're assigned to work with if you want to reach out to them prior.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Sounds
Thank you
good.
all.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Michelle.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.